Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks for tuning in to a video where I'm going to walk you through my top 5 favorite highlighter palettes that are specifically meant to layer your highlights to get a more colorful look. And what I mean by a more colorful look is that all of these palettes are going to contain powders or products that use colors that I don't think a lot of us typically reach for when we go in for our everyday highlighter. I'm talking purples, greens, pinks, blues. They're not your average champagne highlight, and this idea comes from a video that I did last week where I was talking about or giving you tricks to wear colorful eyeshadow. Ease your way into it, starting to integrate more colorful shadows into your looks. And in that video I mentioned that I also like to wear colorful highlighter using some of those crazier shades that we might not otherwise use as a highlight. I've actually already made a video about that. A lot of you were asking, so I either click the I to give it a watch or I'll link it down in the description box below because I already have a whole video about the technique that I use to do it. I give a product recommendation or two there. But since I made that video, there have been a few palettes that have launched that have really allowed us to start mixing and matching and layering our highlighters in that specific way. So I thought I would just do a roundup video of them. If highlight layering is not your thing, I actually already have a video of highlight palettes I really like, and a few of those are more traditional palettes or palettes that contain, you know, more comfort zone colors. And so if that's more so what you're interested, I will also link that down below, or click the I if you want to watch it. But if you're here for the colorful highlight, let's go ahead and dive in. Now this first palette is what started it all for me. This is the one that I picked up and learned this technique with, so I couldn't not mention it here even though I do talk about it in that original video. I won't get into it too far for that reason. In case you've already watched that video, you know about this palette, but had to mention it here since this is where it all started. This is the Makeup Addiction Cosmetics palette in Holy Glow Volume 2, and it contains 4 different shades of highlighter. On the end here you get kind of a white base with a pink iridescent shift. Then you get more of a pink champagne base with just a standard shimmery or pink shift. And over here you get a gorgeous white base with a greeny gold shift. And then all the way over here on the end you get a bronze. Now the 3 lightest over here are those that I tend to layer up with just because they're best suited for my lighter skin tone. But I do love this bronze as an eyeshadow, and if you have a medium to deep skin tone, it is going to be a gorgeous base for you to layer under all of these colorful eyeshadows. Now I tend to stick to the lighter 3 shades in this palette because they best suit my lighter skin tone when it comes to highlight layering. But I do love this bronze powder as an eyeshadow, and if you have a medium or deep skin tone, this is going to look beautiful as the base of your highlight, and then you can go with some of these funkier shades over top to do that colorful pop. Now these next 2 I think are going to be good for beginners or people who just want to take it slow when it comes to dipping their toe into this highlight layering technique, because they don't have a huge shade range within them, and the shades that they do have tend to be a little bit on the safer side, and I think you'll know what I mean when I talk about them. So the first of which is the Physicians Formula Butter Collection palette. Now I know this launched probably about a year ago and they ran out super fast, and it's been super hard to try and find them, but recently, like over the past month and a half, I have seen them relaunch these, or at least the end caps that they've been on have been newly restocked with the launch of the Butter Eyeshadow Collection. So I thought it was worth mentioning here just in case you find yourself at Walmart, you find yourself in the makeup collection like I always am pretty much wherever I shop, and just go ahead and check the end cap. If this has been something you're looking for, it's worth seeing if they have it in stock, because you not only get the classic bronzer, a great blush, but you get 2 limited edition highlighters that are easily the most multifaceted I think Physicians Formula has come out with in their butter highlighter collection. The first of which is in Full Moon, and this is a white base with an iridescent yellow gold shift, and then the other one is Galactic, which is this incredible silvery mauve shade. And I think both of these, I mean, I guess I personally feel a little bit safer with Full Moon, but really both of them kind of push me out of my comfort zone worn either individually or together. You might not naturally think to put them together because one is warm and one is cool, but I kind of find that contrast between the 2 makes it a more interesting look on the cheeks. So this is a really easy one to get because you don't have a ton of options to work with, and yet it might push you a little bit farther out of your comfort zone than you are used to when it comes to the shades you wear as a highlight. Then my next pick is a 5-pan palette from Profusion. This is their Blush and Glow 1 palette, and you can see there are 2 blushy looking shades here and 3 highlight looking shades here, but in reality all of these have an iridescent twist to them, including the two blushes here. One has a peachier shift, and then one has a pink with a more golden shift. And I think that makes this palette so much more versatile for those with anywhere from a fair or light skin tone to those with a medium deep skin tone, because these blushes will be closer to a true blush for someone with a fair to light skin tone. But for medium deep skin tones, I think they're going to act as beautiful bases underneath these lighter, more iridescent shades when you're layering them up. So you have the pinks and the peaches here, then you also have Lightning, which is a white base with an orangey peach kind of shift. Then you have Charming with more of a golden base and an iridescent gold shift. And then there is Fizz over here, which is probably like the safest highlighter in this whole, like closer to a more traditional just champagne highlight. It's beautiful, it's just not one of those that I think is really going to wow you in terms of how different it is from every other champagne highlight out there. Still very useful to have though, I think, in a palette like this, because it gives you that great base shade to apply on the broader part of your cheek, and yet you still have those more colorful shades to put as that pop in your outer corner. Then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're looking for something that gives you a lot more variety and opportunities to play, there's the Profusion Strobe and Glow palette, which comes with 9 different powders inside. Both are great, but like I said earlier, this one with the 5-pan palette I just think is personally less intimidating if you're not sure where to start with highlight layering, or you just don't want to get too crazy, since this larger version has, you know, blue purples and pinks. Those might be great once you're more comfortable with the technique, but if you're just getting started, definitely consider the 5-pan Blush and Glow 1 palette. The Strobe and Glow palette, by the way, is one that I've talked about many times before here on the channel. It's been a long time favorite for me, so I'm not going to say much more about it besides just that it is a fantastic palette. Whether you're looking to layer your highlight for something more colorful, or if just this mood, this palette strikes you, it is a good one to pick up, and it's only 10 bucks. Then my last pick is from Flower Beauty, and this is the Galactic Glow Holographic palette. Now, it's not holographic, it is definitely iridescent, but I still love what it does. It keeps things simple with just 4 powders, but still gives you a ton of room to play with some pretty distinct color options in here. So you have a light champagne shade in this biggest pan, well, in one of the biggest pans. Then you have a frosty white shade, and over here, it's really hard to see in the pan, but you have an iridescent pinky purple shade and then an iridescent blue purple shade over here, and that is actually what I'm wearing on my face today. I put the highlight shade on all over the broadest part of my cheek, and then right in that inner corner area, I went in with the blue purple shade, just so you could get an idea of how natural I think it still looks. You might look at this when you swatch it and just struggle with how you should wear it and still keep it looking natural and distinctive, but not disruptive of your whole look. And so I think layering them in that way still gives you a very complimentary looking highlight, but just lets you have a little bit more fun and add a little bit more depth. So those are my 5 picks. I know there are some others out there, like Revlon recently came out with a 4-pan highlight palette, but because I clearly have a ton of options to choose from, I'm trying to keep it simple this year. But I would certainly love to hear from you guys what you think of it, or if you've tried any other palettes out there that would lend themselves to more colorful layered highlighting. Absolutely let us know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys!